What's going on, guys? We're gonna do a video here again. This one's gonna be a little bit more serious about the Diamondback and the new BTSU Gloves. Other than that, there's really not too much new on the PTS other than they wiped our characters. They gave us these pre-built skill build characters, and they unlocked the expedition. The expedition was kind of lackluster. I'll see if I can maybe get some footage of that later or tomorrow when I redo it again. It didn't really seem that fancy or fantastic. I'm not sure what's really supposed to be behind it, but that's a whole other matter. Other than that, there's not much, like I said, just the gun and the gloves. Now, one big thing to note is currently, let's see here. I had to pull up the notes, and I'll link the notes again in the description below. So the Diamondback. Diamondback has agonizing bite. It randomly marks an enemy. Hitting the enemy consumes the mark, guaranteeing a critical hit. And technically, this says 10% total damage here. The patch notes say 20. So far, from what I've seen, at least with the gloves especially, pretty much the entire talents are all worded wrong and have the wrong amounts, etc. on them. I think it's supposed to be what's in the patch notes, so I'm assuming this is 20% total damage. A new random enemy is marked afterwards and whenever you reload. After hitting 5 marked enemies, gain 50% reload speed. This is 20% total damage in the patch notes, and all shots fired are guaranteed critical hits for 10 seconds. While drawn, each time a round is loaded, gain 15% bonus armor for 3 seconds. This says 20 in the patch notes. And considering the gun has 5 bullets, you're going to get 100% armor. That's going to keep stacking every time you reload a bullet for that amount of time. Which would be reload time, so 3.4 seconds. Now, while holstered, each time you reload or cycle your current weapon, gain plus 8% bonus armor for 2 seconds. There's the mods that are on it. It's alright. I can't really fully test it because we don't have any actual weapon builds on the PTS right now, and I'm not interested in opening caches for hours on end, but I will show you how it works for now. As you can see, it marked an enemy here. You just gotta finish it off, basically, and it decided to change marks. Now, you can force it to change. However, in the shooting range, it targets random things, so it doesn't really work very well. What you can do, though, is fire a round, reload, it'll change targets again. It's 4 times. Now, we have this, reloads fast, all crits. And as you can see, the armor stacking up there. It'll probably be halfway decent once we actually have our normal builds. We'll have to check and see how it works. It is supposed to, one thing to note with it too, is it does have a sight on it, but as you can see here, there's no sight, and I can't scope into it, so I'm not sure if it's supposed to have some type of sight or not. But yeah, right now it's kind of lackluster, like I said. And for this part of the testing, I'll show you the gloves, and we'll go over, I'm going to use Gunner starting out, and then I'll probably clip in, like, demo to show the other aspects of it. So the gloves are BTSU Gloves. Skills that apply status effects gain 100% status effect duration and 30% skill haste. In the notes, this is 50% status effect duration and 50% skill haste. Energy infusion is actually not even listed here. The wording is, whenever you apply a status effect, your gloves become infused with that for 60 seconds. Okay, that's an important thing to note. While infused, you gain 10% skill damage, 10% skill healing and repair, and 10% skill duration for each utility, which is a yellow battery on your gear. Okay, so currently, right now, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now, whenever you throw a skill, this is wrongly worded again, whenever you throw a skill, 1.25 seconds after landing, it creates an explosion, applying the infused status effect to all enemies within 6 meters. Enemies affected by the infused status effect take 50% more damage from your skills. Now, it is kind of buggy at times. The gloves seem to work, not work. The fire seems to not work sometimes with it and not reactivate. Bleed and all that seems to work pretty regularly. But most people don't understand how these actually work. Originally, I didn't either until I started messing with them and couldn't figure them out, and it took me a little while to figure it out. So the energy infusion perk, okay, when you use a status effect, it gives the gloves that status effect, basically. It infuses you with whatever, which you'll see in a second. So you keep that on you for 60 seconds. Now, whenever you throw a skill within that time frame, it will AoE with that status effect around wherever you threw that skill. Okay, and I'll show you that too. Now, when you throw it out as well, it does do damage. Even if it's an EMP or whatever the case is, it does do an AoE explosion. So it's pretty significantly strong. We're gonna use, like I said, we're gonna use gunner right now. We're gonna use the sticky grenades, the riot foam grenades, just to kind of symbolize what it does. What we're gonna do is, oh, the other aspect too is if they're under that status effect, they take a bunch of extra damage. Okay, so that's a big thing you want to make sure that you're doing if you want the extra damage to stack up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw these. You're gonna see my gloves change color. Now that they're red, this is the buff that I was talking about. Okay, this is energy infusion. All right. Now, when you go to throw a skill, I'm going to use the healing hive just to symbolize this here. Whatever you did to activate your gloves will be shown right here. So for this amount of time is how long you have that you can throw your skills out, and they will do whatever it is this is. Okay. I'm going to throw this out. You're going to see a red circle, and you're going to see that it just riot foamed everything in that area. Okay. Now, it also, down here, it also did 300,000 damage to each one of the targets in that range. Okay. Now, on top of that effect, if we go ahead and riot foam these guys, and we throw out this in the middle of that, this is my explosive cluster. As you can see, it just went crazy. It riot foamed everything. There's tons of damage over here. You can't even really count it because there's so many ticks from it. I've seen it go from 400 to 900 K plus with the clusters. It just depends on what you're using. And it does it with, like I said, pretty much any of the status effects. It just depends on which ones you're using. Now, let's say you wanted to do it with a flame turret. You can do it with that. That one's a little bit different how you do it, at least, because obviously it's fire. Let's see. Yeah, the fire is significantly strong because as you, like I said, when you throw your skill out, it does an AoE explosion and it does that effect. Okay. So what we'll do is throw this out here. My gloves is procced, as you saw. Now I'm going to throw out the healing hive. You see the fire effect now. And as you see, it did an AoE explosion of fire and a whole bunch of damage. I did test it with blind. Blind definitely works. It will AoE blind and detonate doing damage. A big one is the fact that you can pulse. So what you can do is you pulse somebody, you activate your gloves, and it saves that effect. Okay? Same thing with Banshee. I'm gonna get rid of the turret real quick. And now what we're gonna do is... Come on. I'm gonna put the healing eye back on, actually. Just to show that, basically. And... so I'm gonna pull something just to activate them. This is actually the Banshee whale, so... should hit them from here, I think. Yep. So it captured the Banshee thing. When I go to throw the hive, you're gonna see the confuse effect, right? Throw this out. As you can see, they're all confused and they took damage. Oops. Pull that out. Yeah, right in there. There we go. So there's that. Now, it does work really, really well with different things depending on what you want to do. Like I said, you can do it with your the confuse effect if you want to. It works really well if you want to do like a range toss out for EMP because it lasts for so long. So you can EMP something, capture that effect, and then you can throw out a different ability like a seeker mine or something, and it will do it in that area. The fireflies don't cause the explosion. They like you can use the blind to capture the blind if you want. What else? Oh, this does also boost healing a considerable amount. So combining the gloves with like safeguard or something would be absolutely insane. All right, so the grenades from demo actually cause bleed. And this is the only effect that seems to actually change the icon for the gloves proc. I'm not sure if there's a reason to that or not, but it is there. Okay, so you throw out a grenade for bleed. Let's throw it on them. They're all going to be bleeding. You captured the effect right here. Now the turret detonated in an AoE, but because it wasn't near them, it didn't actually do anything. Okay, so I'm going to shoot this. As you can see right there, between 1.27 million and 1.45. Okay. Now what we're going to do is the roly-poly. You're going to see it go off in an area around it when it first lands, doing the bleed effect and an AoE detonation around the grenades, or the roly-polies, whatever. And then you're going to see it also detonate like crazy. As you can see, that's an awful lot of numbers. This is the one we left on right here, and these are all the extra damage it just did. And like I said, it goes up to about 900k there, etc., because all the extra explosion damage. Now we throw a grenade, and then we do a mortar right after while they're bleeding. Didn't see much of a difference. See, with the bleed effect, I've noticed that, like with the mortar and such, you seem to get that increased damage no matter what. Or it's just not capturing correctly, I'm not sure. But like the other ones, you actually have to have them under the effect in order for them to actually get that extra boosted damage, it seemed like. But with this one, I mean, it just keeps doing, you know, 1.2, 1.27. So, not sure what's really behind that. Like I said, they're a little buggy still, but they are extremely powerful. I think that was really it. Shield doesn't actually trigger it. The turret does, the seeker mine does, the drone doesn't actually trigger it. However, like, you can boost these damages of these if you have a status effect on the enemy and you're shooting them or whatever with these abilities, it will do extra damage. Let's see. You do have to be careful with it though, considerably careful, especially if you're on the PTS or if this goes live like the way it is. If you have something captured, okay, I'll show you here in a second here. Let's get rid of this. If you have something captured and you have a keybind set up to automatically cast an ability just by hitting it once so that it drops it right in front of you, it will kill you. So we're going to capture the bleed effect here. And as soon as I put my turret down, it's going to go off in an AoE around me and instantly kill me usually. See the range? Oh, it didn't actually hit me right there. Good. In the missions, it usually does. So you got to be careful with that if you drop a turret or something like that. The roly-polies usually do. Yep. Oh, guess that time it didn't either. Maybe it doesn't actually do it with the bleed one nearly as much. But yeah, definitely be careful of it. It will hit you. whether you wanted to or not. And I've died multiple times trying to test out the different turrets and all that here with just double tapping it, thinking that that would work, but it ends up killing me. So definitely make sure you grab the gloves when you can and check them out. They're pretty neat. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with them yet, but we'll be looking at the expedition and stuff tomorrow and seeing how that goes. Kind of neat. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Drop a like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Yell at me in the comments. It's all good to me. Have a good one.
I'm a scat man.